Hello MYP3, we are going to recap on gradient of a straight line. Just a quick revision, we have done that before and we will be just looking at it again. So gradient is same as slope, finding the slope, the steepness of a straight line. Right? The symbol that we'll be using for gradient most of the time or all the time is M. The symbol for gradient will be M. Okay, if we draw a straight line on our x and y plane, that's my x and y axis, it's called Cartesian plane. So if I'm drawing a straight line, let's say this is my straight line AB, and line A, a straight line AB will have, I'm labeled that as 2 points, A and point B. Point A has a coordinate of x1, y1, and point B, let's see, we will label the coordinate as x2, y2. Okay, the formula for finding the gradient of a line is m is equals to y2 minus y1 is equals to, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. All right, we're going to look at an example. For example, if I give a coordinate for point A and B, these are my 2 points A and B. Point A has the coordinate -3, -8. Point B has the coordinate 12 and 10. Right, and I have to find the gradient of these 2 points. Of course, I'm using the formula m is equals to y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. First thing, every time that you do, you are going to label your coordinates. The first set of coordinates will be labeled as x1, y1, and second set of coordinates will be labeled as x2, y2. Okay, so once we put that in the formula, make sure you're not pressing everything at once in the calculator. You will do your numerator, write the answer for the numerator, divided by then the denominator. So 10 minus -8 goes as 18. 12 minus -3 is 15. Once we simplify, you can see the gradient of this straight line which has the coordinate A and B there, has the gradient of 6/5. Okay, so few other important things when we are looking at gradients. Right, so the line that's increasing, you know how when we read something, when we read a book, we are always reading from the left hand side. So when we are reading a straight line, of course we are reading from the left hand side. If it is an increasing line, it will have a positive gradient. If it is a decreasing line, it's a negative gradient. Now there's two other extra situation: parallel line and perpendicular line. Parallel line, you all know what is parallel line, right? The parallel lines will always go in the same direction. They will not touch each other. Let's say this, I've labeled this first line as line 1 and second one is line 2. So parallel lines will always have same gradient. For example, if m for gradient of line 1 is 3/5, then gradient of line 2 will also be 3/5. Right, or in any case, the gradient in a straight parallel line will be same. Now gradient in a perpendicular line, when two lines are perpendicular, so their gradients will be negative reciprocal. Now how does a perpendicular line look like? Perpendicular lines, when perpendicular lines will cross each other, they will make 90 degrees angle. You will see that's how we label. The perpendicular lines normally cross each other, and when they cross each other, it makes they make a 90-degree angle. So gradient of perpendicular lines are negative reciprocal of each other. So let's look at these some examples. If gradient of line 1 is 3/5, then the gradient of the second line, line 2, would be -5/3. We'll just flip the fraction, and then if the first one does not have a negative sign, we'll include the negative sign to the second one. Negative reciprocal, we'll add a negative sign and the reciprocal. Okay, another example, gradient of line 1, if this is -8/3, then gradient of line 2 will become 3/8. We have flipped. So if this was negative, then this will become positive. Here, this was positive, then this will become negative. And we are flipping the fraction. Okay, another case. If another example though, gradient of line 1 is 1 and gradient of line 2 will be then -1. These are the cases of perpendicular lines. When perpendicular lines cross each other, they make negative reciprocal. Okay, now another two situation where we have to pay attention: gradient of horizontal line and gradients of vertical lines. Okay, gradients of horizontal lines will always have the gradient of 0. The gradient of any horizontal line will be 0. And gradients of vertical lines is undefined. We cannot find it, when if you are going to be using any formula or anything, it will end up as an error. So we cannot find the gradient of perpendicular lines, right? That is undefined, and gradient of horizontal lines will be 0. Thank you.